Hopefully it won't be that bad. They're good scissors. We're live. We're live. We're live. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we start the show, I want to hype up the end of the show, much the way NXT does sometimes very well. I'm going to start the show by hyping the main event. This week, the main event is going to be something fun. So I decided we're going to do a challenge, a food challenge.
What's in the box?
I spent a lot of money on these.
Oh,
so
son of a bitch.
I'm hoping to God you don't chicken out. I want to make this...
I can kind of guess what it is.
I want to make this a 3-chop challenge, honestly. I want to make this a big event because this was... I want to get some views because this was kind of expensive. These were a few bucks a piece. Especially when you have to get them on eBay instead of where they're normally sold at. Okay, so this morning we are going to do the Pocky one-chip challenge.
Oh, fuck.
I got one for me, and I got one for Jerry. These are supposed to make you cry. That's why we're saving it for the end of the show. It is going to be the main event. The person that lasts the longest, because I came prepared, the person that lasts the longest before we drink the milk is the loser, or is the winner. The first person to drink their milk, or I actually got some squeezable sour cream, because that stuff helps. And I thought that squeezing it in our mouth would be way funnier looking than just taking a spoonful of sour cream. So I've got plenty of milk, I got plenty of sour cream, and we're doing this at the end of the show. Come hell or high water. I'm getting nervous now. But stay tuned for this. Meanwhile, we're here to cover NXT. Jerry?
Yeah. Matches are made for TakeOver. We find out where the fuck Parts Unknown is. And all the in-ring action, you're legally allowed. This is NXT.
This is NXT. He had no idea the challenge that was coming tonight. Yeah, that was a secret. We'll be right back. To What's NXT for May 20th, 2020. I am your host, the Rated R viewer, Stefan Osborne, joined as always by the General, Jerry Slaughter.
Good morning, wrestling fans. And today's episode of What's NXT is brought to you by Canadian Dreams Jamaican Cock Soup. Because if it's not Jamaican cock, it doesn't deserve to be in your mouth.
This is going to be, not really a challenge, lots of people eat these, but this is going to be one of our taste tests on a future episode, so look for that. Yeah, I recently went to Pennsylvania and came back with a few awesome goodies. I got some new sodas that we were going to try for the NXT party over the next few weeks. I will debut those tomorrow. Meanwhile, you got the cock soup. You're going to get the one-chip challenge. I think that's enough for this video. Yeah. Let's save some for the future.
Good morning to Cleaver, Colin, Andrew in our chat room already.
Awesome, awesome. Mine's not loading. I will try that again. Yeah. Sweet. What's up, Colin? Got 4 people in the chat room. That's awesome. Thank you guys for joining us. I know this is not our regular time, as it has been over the last few months, but things are starting to pick up, and quarantine's almost over. Jerry had to go back to work, so we're back to the original schedule.
Well, even then, we're a day late because, like, you know, somebody can't fucking wake up.
Oh, let me tell you. That drive from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we'll go with the drive.
Let's
talk about the show.
About 2 hours away from the Pennsylvania sensation, Greg Cherry. I wanted to drop in on him, but that was literally out of my way to get home. So I was like, nah, my bad. That would have been cool, though. Anyway, this show started super sad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, super fucking sad, but that's how all of these shows start when somebody died this week. And this week, Shad Gaspard died. I don't know what his real name was.
It was Shad Gaspard, not his real name.
You know what? I think sometimes it's pretty awesome when guys get to use their real name in the ring. In this case, thank God they're not like, oh, Shad Gaspard died, and people are like, who is that? And they're like, big, I don't know, Big Thumper G guy. I don't know, because JTG, that's definitely not his real name.
No, his real name's Justin.
Big Thumper. I don't know. Big Thumper. He looks like he could thump a guy in the head. Anyway, I make light, but yeah, he died in a fairly heroic but
super
sort of
tragic.
racist way. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry to make light of a black man drowning, but he was definitely an awesome dad, because he was like, dude, instead of trying to help us both at the same time, and maybe not, save my kid first, save my son, and come back for me. But immediately, like after he made that decision, he got swept under and never came back. And I think a day and a half later, they finally found his body. Or maybe they gave up the search.
No, his body washed up at Venice Beach.
Yeah, that sucks. Anyway, our best to the family, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks to lose, a family member, let alone that kid losing a dad. It's a heavy memory, man.
It's a tough pill to swallow, especially like once he finds out, or once he realizes how his dad died.
Saving him. That's why I said that's a heavy memory, man. That brings up so much love and so much crazy emotion all at once, I would assume. So, man, what a sad week. JTG was fun, but Shad Gaspard to me was always like the star of that team, and I always felt like he should have gone on to have a singles career that would have been upper mid card at the very least. A couple mid card titles, maybe even a shot at the world title, and given the right circumstances, a title run. And I say that knowing that Kofi Kingston took it took.
Well, you think about it though,
a year and a half ago.
One of the most memorable videos out right now, or over the past couple of years, was Shad Gaspard and MVP watching Kofi Kingston win the world title. So that was actually really cool that he got to see that happen.
Anyway, I hate to say let's just move on, but I mean, this is a pretty sad topic. Let's move on to the show. Karrion Kross comes out. They start the show with what Jerry argues is the best entrance in NXT right now. I would argue that maybe, just maybe, there's a few that rival it.
You just got that hard on for Damian Priest's one because it's got fire.
Well, also, you argue for Io Sharai being number 2, but I think Rhea Ripley's music.
Well, I kind of forgot Rhea Ripley because I was,
Yeah, but I try never to forget Rhea Ripley.
Oh, Ripley, I guess, would be number 2 in my book. Then right behind this Karrion Kross one. It's sick. It's got everything in it.
Well, he comes out with Scarlett, the amazingly sexy Scarlett, and he's facing a guy with no entrance, no music, no placard. His only name is the name on the back of his shorts, which is Liam, which he thinks is his first name. I think it's his last name.
I think his last name is Lunch Meat, because that's exactly what he gets fucking made into.
He gets this kind of reverse cradle suplex, and then cradle into a Northern Lights. You know how Joseph Connors does that cradle flatliner? Imagine that kind of cradle, that kind of rampage cradle, but into a Northern Light suplex. He rolls through it, picks him up, spins him around into a
backdrop driver,
and then picks him up by the waist, puts him right into that cross jacket, and gets the tap out.
The dude's all snoring and slobbering everywhere. It's gross but awesome. Because Scarlett just pops out from behind a cross like she's some sort of magician's assistant or something.
Dude, her whole part of the entrance, like, she mouths the words in the song.
Yep.
There for a minute, but then it's time for them to focus on Karrion Kross, and then she just goes nuts around him, dancing just like a magician's assistant.
Yep.
So I feel like maybe she was one at one point.
Very well, maybe.
Anyway, fine squash match. just fine.
What even a squash match? It was just a squash.
This wasn't about the match. This was about the aftermatch. Well,
we're all about the aftermatch.
Cross and Scarlett are celebrating. Tommaso Ciampa comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Very deliberate. Doesn't rush the ring like he's going to beat him up. He says he understands why he attacked Ciampa. You know, he's an up and comer. He wants to make a name for himself. Ciampa's a big name to attack. He said, and you know he's doing just fine. He's a special guy. Names all the things about him that are special, except for Scarlett Bordeaux, and I would argue that makes him a pretty special guy. Anyway, he says he respects him for what he did, but it doesn't mean he necessarily needs to like it or anything. So he's here to man tell him that they have a match coming up at TakeOver In Your House.
Which is weird because we're technically in Ciampa's house. You think they planned it that way? You think Triple H is that crafty?
Man, there's a lot of people with keys to that house. Anyway, this is going to happen on June 7th in your house. Ciampa versus Cross. They're going to remind us of this later, but I'm just going to lay it out here.
Yeah, it's match is already made. We know it.
El Hijo de Fantasma Jr. comes out to face Akira Tozawa. This is the last match in Group B of the no longer interim but actual new NXT Cruiserweight Championship round robin style tournament. That's a mouthful. That's what she's. Never mind. I'll do it for you, damn it, Jerry. This match was pretty fun. It ended in a completely different way than I thought it would. Not only because of the ending, because I didn't think that they were going to go for 2 ties or anything. Like, they were looking at 2 ties, one on each side, one between 3 guys, one between 2. So I was surprised a little bit by the ending, but I was more surprised by the outcome. I don't know how else to say it. The outcome of the ending. How it ended up just wrapping the whole fucking thing up in an unexpected way. But before I get into all that, what were your thoughts on the match?
I thought it was actually a pretty fast-paced match, considering like you had the Japanese strong style of Tozawa and his like aerial abilities, and you had the Mexican heritage and everything of Phantasma, and it was actually a really cool blend of styles. I wouldn't try it with food. I wouldn't try Japanese food mixed with like Mexican food, but the styles like wrestling-wise actually meshed pretty damn well.
See, my first note here is my favorite move of Tozawa's, whether it's new or not. I call it the chop and bang. It's like it's like Trent Seven and Tyler Bates bop and bang, but instead he starts it with a chop and the guy goes to block it like this, and then as soon as he drops his hands, he catches a right hand to the face. Super fun. He does that ramen noodle dive, you know, to quote the king, and eventually, let's see. He dives off the apron. Oh, that sends us into the commercial. But when we come back, somehow Phantasma's back in it, and he catches Tozawa on the apron and does that spin that people like to do now.
That really, the Dakota Kai can only do the best, and that's it.
Yeah, it was a very awkward looking one, but he kicks him in the chest, and then
does that frog splash on the apron.
Yeah, does a splash on the which Beth lets us know is the hardest part of the ring.
Don't you know?
And Jerry reminds me that Beth would be the predominant source for things that are hard edge.
Yep. That are, you know.
Something like that. Yeah. It was funnier when he said it.
Yeah, it was, but it's all gone now.
Yeah, she's seen a lot of hard edge. There we go.
There you go. That works.
Let's see. We're up top. Phantasma gets Akira Tozawa in a firearms carry and drops him over the top turnbuckle. This is where he starts working on the
And referee screams, "Are you okay?"
See, Tozawa hits his diving senton, but Phantasma rolls outside. So by the time Akira gets out, grabs him, rolls him back in, he only gets a near fall. Phantasma hits sets up for that Phantom Driver, which is a fireman's carry into a Michinoku, and briefly Tozawa counters it into an octopus, but he powers out of the octopus, puts him right back into it, hits that Phantasma Driver, 1, 2, 3, gets the win. This ties them up 2 wins, 1 loss in the round robin tournament in their group. However, because Phantasma has the win over Tozawa, he becomes the winner of the group.
Mm-hmm.
He is going to move on to into the finals to face whoever comes out of Group A. That surprised me.
Colin asked, do you see Fanta winning this tournament? We'll get to that here in a little bit after we discuss the Drake Maverick and Kushida match.
DJ Mike EQ in the group says, "What's up, everyone? What's up, DJ Mike? EQ Equalizer?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Mike Equalizer. That's a badass name.
Mike the Equalizer.
Mm-hmm. Just Mike Equalizer.
So let's move on. We get a video cap of Tim Thatcher walking out on Matt Riddle last week during the tag team title match, and thus Imperium, that was Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner, taking advantage, getting the win, becoming the new NXT Tag Team Champions.
So happy about that.
And then after that, there was a brawl in the back between Matt Riddle and Tim Thatcher. That led into a main event match. They showed parts of the match. We saw Matt Riddle get the roll-up pinfall on Tim Thatcher, who attacked Matt Riddle after match and put the armbar on him. And now we stands with Tim Thatcher giving a promo, and he says he left the Matt Riddle circus and he challenges Matt Riddle to another match because of course he lost that one, but he says a fluke roll-up pin, and he says no pinfalls this time, knockout or tap out only, anytime, anywhere you want, Matt Riddle.
So we get a response from Riddle here in a little while.
Yeah, you want to cover that now?
Oh, we might as well just go ahead and knock it out. Riddle actually challenges it and says, okay, you putz. He called him a putz, which that word is not used nearly enough.
Let's see where my notes on this. Yeah, he says, you're not a stallion, you're a putz.
Yep.
Calls him Trashy Tim, and he wants to fight in a cage.
Yep. So you're thinking it's going to be a Lion's Den match. I'm pulling for Pujami Prison.
They said it. They said it's a cage match. It's a cage match. Next week, by the way.
Pujami Prison's a cage.
Yeah, so is the Lion's Den. I don't think, man, as much as I'd love to
Lion's
see it.
Den's a porn shop, too. What else?
I think we're going to see the European Championship in NXT UK before we see the Lion's Den ever resurface.
Colin called a submission match, so he's about right.
Speaking of big things made of steel, there's a giant tank with a tiny Shotzi on top.
Mm-hmm.
And this is her video promo that's really quite good.
Long overdue, I think, because she's been in the company for a little while, and she didn't get that introduction video package. She just kind of was thrusted into women's title picture or women's picture. So.
Yeah.
You all right?
She's new coming, and she deserves an identity, and that's what this is starting to give her. I mean, she looks a little, peppy but crazy in the ring. She does have that tiny little tank, but this is some serious shit she's on, and it's a little bit different. And it gives her a little bit of backstory. She talks about being raised by her dad, who's a hardcore biker guy that loves rock music, and she got into punk, and punk goes with wrestling, and blah blah blah.
But you also see them pulling a picture of her mother, so you're kind of wondering if her mom passed on, the dad just kind of took over everything.
Yeah, that might be part 2 of the story. We shall see. Meanwhile, she gets in the tank, and we think she's going to blow something up. But no, she gets in the driver's seat, and she runs something over.
Which is just as cool.
Yeah, she says everybody in the women's division, well, mostly just the heels, save Io Sharai, because she lists them all, including Candice LeRae and a few others.
Io Shirai is still kind of a tweener.
Anyway, she says she's going to crush them all, because, man, she looks pretty badass in this. She looks less badass in the ring, but hopefully that'll catch up to this character she's got.
Well, she's forever going to look green as long as she doesn't dye her hair.
But I tell you what, I know Jerry loved this, and I got to mention it. The name of her tank, which I kind of believe that maybe she saved up enough money to buy a tank that was decommissioned. I kind of believe maybe she says it's her tank. It's spray painted with maybe it's since it's spray. Anyway, the dirty blonde. Love that. Anyway, she's just like a tank. She doesn't give a shit. And then she runs over some cars and crushes them good.
Yep, she gives no fucks.
Cleaver Colin Andrew says, I called a submission match. No doubt for Tim Thatcher versus Matt Riddle. I like the fact that knockout's a possibility, too. Because I don't think knockout's a possibility.
Knockout or tap out.
Yep, knockout, tap out. So it's the tap out versus the knockout. So that's cool. Anyway, Mia Yim versus Santana Garrett, and
It was really weird going for Shotzi Blackheart, who I feel has got the legit backstory and gimmick and everything, to go right into Mia Yim.
yeah, a match nonetheless. In one of those face versus faces where they actually shake hands mid match. And who didn't know Mia Yim was going to win? And what's the point of this match? Mia Yim doesn't need another jobber victory. Mia Yim needs some sort of story. That's what she's getting coming out of this. But what does this do for Santana Garrett?
Absolutely nothing.
If the aftermatch was coming like this, then why not give Santana Garrett the rub? Give her a win because of the interference.
Or distraction.
Okay, so Mia Yim wins, and we start hearing Johnny Gargano's music, not music, his voice.
Yeah, he's singing over her music.
Yeah. And he comes out with Candice LeRae, who starts like berating Mia Yim for getting handed a match with Charlotte and still blowing it. Said that if she was given that match, she would have totally aced it. And this is what they do to people that get things they don't deserve around here in their new NXT. And Johnny Gargano distracts her by running in toward the ring while Candice LeRae runs to the other side, gets in the ring, and of course, and I'm like, why would you? Because she attacked Johnny Gargano to get him off the apron successfully, mind you. But why would you attack the guy that's not allowed to hit you? Fuck. You know Candice LeRae is coming in. Fuck, dude. Make sure you're on her. Anyway, babyface syndrome. They get the upper hand until Keith Lee comes out and chases them off. And this is setting up exactly what Jerry called.
I'm loving right now because Candice and Johnny are just like that obnoxious couple, and it's just so great to actually watch. Keith Lee actually makes mention of like who in the bluest of hell actually like records himself eating dinner.
Keith Lee, great, but paired with Mia Yim and all of this.
Well, they're kind of already paired. So.
Well, yeah, but you know, it's wrestling. You know, you
like they basically had that big black boyfriend moment where like Candice and Johnny just ran off the second Keith Lee came out to the ring. So.
Yeah, basically. So we get a video recap of Damian Priest attacking Finn Balor last week and admitting that he was the one that attacked him 3 weeks ago. Let's see.
Then Cameron Grimes.
Yeah, because Cameron Grimes won a match over Finn Balor off of the attack that Damian Priest laid in on Balor's leg with that nightstick mid-match. And so we get a Cameron Grimes promo, you know,
gloating, just talking about how he beat like one of the longest reigning NXT champions / the first ever Universal champion. So that's something huge.
Colin Andrew says, so will Gargano face Lee for the NA title down the line? We'll talk about that here in a minute because we are going to get follow-up on this. Meanwhile, my favorite line that Cameron Grimes dropped said he used to look up to Finn Balor, but last week Finn was looking up at him.
And he said it was such reassuring gusto and shaking his vest and everything.
Hey, man.
It was really great.
Hey, man. It's grime time.
It's grime time.
Actually, it's Drake Maverick's time to catch an interview where he says he's tired of people asking him what he's going to do or how he feels. He's tired of second-guessing himself. He's tired of the advice. He's tired of all of it. He's tired of the wait. It's time to just go out there, and he's got to do one thing tonight. That's win.
I'm loving it. He's getting like me more and more pumped for this whole thing.
Yeah, this is really nice and all, and congrats if it pays off with him keeping his job. But them to use that to get all of this, whichever way it goes, it's a double-edged sword. I agree with Russell Talk. If he gets the win and if he gets the title and he gets his job back, then you kind of shit on the other people that got fired the same day he did.
Point and counterpoint here. If this hadn't happened, like the whole COVID-19 thing, Drake Maverick wouldn't even be doing this, I don't think. I don't think he'd be this big in the tournament. I think he'd already be out. But since you have a little bit of backstory going, like, you know, or not even backstory, actual story going on with him right now, it just adds another dimension to the whole thing.
This is true. Like, they're using real life shit to further their agenda with, or try to get ratings or whatever. And I think it's fine if he ends up keeping his job, but I do think it's a little shitty to the people that don't. But if he doesn't get it to keep his job, holy shit, this is a nightmare.
Colin that says he's pulling for Drake.
I think everybody is. Just at least that would be the better of the two outcomes, I feel.
I'm pulling for him to keep his job. I'm not pulling for him to win this tournament.
I don't think one can happen without the other.
I think it can. Because, like, I think if he did lose, and by nefarious means, like, he'll do some sort of invasion plot.
There's not going to be a crowd there to chant to give him a contract like they did for Cedric Alexander. So Triple H will come out and say, "Don't worry, he's safe." Like
or maybe they'll actually have that whole thing where he'll like start some sort of campaign on YouTube and a whole bunch of videos get sent to like Triple H.
Maybe.
No, it'd be just something cool for them to show. Just a whole bunch of people pleading for Drake Maverick to keep his job, almost like a petition.
So Jerry, you know what's creepy? Dexter Lumis.
It's like the ominous boxes sitting on a fucking desk.
I have no segues tonight. Roderick Strong versus Dexter Lumis. We didn't know we were going to get this match this week, but we knew we were going to get this match because last week, the Undisputed Era, in a Zoom call where we finally got to see Kyle O'Reilly again, decided that Roderick Strong unanimously decided that he was going to deal with Dexter Lumis. So he comes out with Adam Cole and Bobby Fish, who wish him luck and then head to the back.
Well, Adam Cole makes an announcement that he's going to have a celebration next week for breaking the 1 year mark.
A few weeks late, but whatever. I'm glad they left to the back. It didn't, they didn't have anything to do with this match. They didn't come out and interfere.
He hasn't gone over the year yet. It's like he went.
I thought he did.
No, it's the longest amount so far. He hasn't gone over the year yet.
Oh, okay. So anyway, my bad. Sorry, folks. Let's see. To start this match, Beth says that she's never seen anyone like Dexter Lumis slither from under the ring like he did. Was it last week?
Yeah.
In the title match between Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole.
Trifling bitch liar.
Yeah, when Undisputed Era came out to try and help, and he slid out from under the ring, but it was face first, sliding the same way that Edge does when he gets into the ring. Crawling across the ring without using his knees. His knees just slide. And I'm like, come on, Beth.
Do better. Be better at it. Be better.
But we get two Edge...
we got two Edge jokes out of the whole thing.
If you call it jokes.
Or references, really.
So let's see. My favorite part of this match, Roderick Strong puts on this abdominal stretch. Anyway, stretch! He puts on an abdominal stretch on Dexter Lumis, who gets out of the move eventually by freaking out Roderick Strong, because he's not yelling, he's not struggling to get out, he's just staring real creepily at him.
That's the easiest reversal I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
Quite possibly. But yeah, he gets out of the move by being creepy. I thought that was pretty cool. Oh, cool. DJ Bike, subscribe to the channel. Thank you, DJ Bike. Welcome. We should be doing these shows around this time every week live. Usually on Thursdays, though. If you want to join us every week, click that bell icon, too. That'll let you know when we go live.
And then we have a whole other show we usually do today.
Yeah.
But not today.
But not today.
So because we're doing a show today.
Let's see. I've got Strong with an Olympic slam, gets a near fall off of it, but when he goes for another one...
Okay, let's not skip over this Olympic slam, okay? It was picture perfect for one, and Dexter Lumis bounced like a foot off the mat when he got hit with it. It was pretty great.
Well, the next one he counters, throws Roderick Strong off the ropes and hits a sweet Luthez press. Let's see. Lumis hits a slingshot suplex where he picks him up for a vertical, slingshots him off, and then suplexes him. Kind of basic for that added spice, but hey, more moves every week. Let's see more repertoire. I'm all for it. Let's see. He tries to get out of an attempted stronghold by twisting out of it, but mid-twist, Roderick Strong sits down and stacks him up and gets a 1-2-3 out of a sort of a roll-up.
June 1st will be Adam Cole's 1 year as a champion.
So while Roderick Strong is celebrating just outside the ring next to the apron, Lumis slides through the ropes and locks on that
The Anaconda Vice.
Anaconda Vice. I apologize. Anaconda Vice, and follows him out to the outside and is just holding it on. This brings out Adam Cole and Bobby Fish to try and get him off. Fish is like kicking him. Adam Cole sets up for a last shot, this time to the face, to get him off. Meanwhile, Velveteen Dream attacks Adam Cole from behind.
We're in an Undisputed Era year.
Lays him out, and of course, Bobby Fish has to go Dex. They got to stand tall. He ends up getting up top, on the top rope, in the corner, diving off with a purple Rainmaker, not only outside, but over the barricade to the cement.
And some of the best editing work I think I've ever seen in my life.
Onto Adam Cole. Meanwhile, Dexter Lumis at some point has released that Anaconda Vice and is now petting Roderick Strong's head, while Velveteen Dream drunken-looking poses up on the steps on the corner.
This is like the action buddy comedy for the summer that we needed.
Now we move outside to the parking lot where Phantasma rolls up to a very depressed-looking
Tozawa.
Kira Tozawa, and he gets out of his car, basically kind of like, "Hey, good match, I'm sorry
awesome.
Sorry that you can't move on, or it wasn't whatever, trying to lift his spirits." Gets back in his SUV, whatever it was, and like I called it because we're in the parking lot, of course, that fucking van rolls up, and those, what did I call them, the Lucha Nappers?
The Lucha Nappers.
They get out and they try and take Akira Tozawa, and because they knocked him up against the door, Phantasma can't get out. But he crawls over the driver's side to the passenger side, gets out that way, and as soon as he gets out the door, the Lucha guys are like, "Oh shit, it's going to be 2-on-2, we're not going to have the advantage. Let's get the fuck out of here." They run off. Phantasma's like, "You okay, Tozawa?" I couldn't do anything. My door was stuck."
Oh my god, my door was stuck.
That would be a little Christy Alley impression out there for you. Anyway, let's move on to Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch.
I made the assumption that at this point Phantasma's in charge of these Lucha Nappers.
I mean, it would kind of make sense because they don't really rough him up or nothing.
No.
They just try and grab him, he dodges them, and then they run off.
Yeah, and then there's that one time they tried to kidnap him in the empty arena, and it didn't work either. So
yeah, same thing.
It's all red herrings. I'm not sure what red herring means in Mexican, but mentirosa means a liar.
So we have the Uno and the Dos, the number 1, the number 2, the Pisser and the Shitter. Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch versus Matt Martell and Chase Parker, collectively Everrise. These guys have known each other since 3rd grade, and oh my god.
We hear about it a lot.
Yeah.
I asked him, who wins a match between them and the Pretty Deadly. Still them, but the crowd loses.
Yeah, nobody really wins. Not even the crowd. These guys, for being a team for so long, they look boring.
Well, the thing is, they actually came up out of Chikara and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and a whole bunch of different places. They've been all over the world.
Dude, they got manhandled.
They got destroyed by Lorcan and Burch.
My notes here are Lorcan with a running European uppercut and then a running blockbuster, and then he flips him over into single leg crab, and Danny Burch catches the other dude coming in, puts him in a crossface, and we get a double tap out for the win. And then the only worthwhile news here is Lorcan and Burch get up and they pose, mocking Imperium's pose, which tells us that we're setting up for them to face Eichner and Bartel for the titles, which is fine with me.
Yeah, one more team
I wouldn't
for
mind
Eichner
seeing
and
them
Bartel
lose to them again.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think they might actually have a victory over Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner that needs to be answered for.
Mm-hmm.
So, fun. Speaking of fun, we get a recap of Candice LeRae and Johnny Wrestling, or Johnny Heel. Johnny what now? Johnny Douchebag? Johnny Sack Cup.
Gargano way.
Gargano way. When they come out and they interrupt Mia Yim, and then Keith Lee comes out. And here's our follow-up. Keith Lee gets on a mic with an interview with whoever that new chick is, and he basically just challenges Gargano. He's like, the new way ends at In Your House. Now, we don't know if this is going to be for the title, We don't know if this is going to be a singles match between the two. Maybe it's going to be a mixed tag match between the two couples.
The mixed tag would make the most sense right now.
I think you could build toward that by having them have a singles match where the women come out with them.
Or maybe a mixed tag match in the next 2 weeks before In Your House.
Who knows? Who knows? Meanwhile, Matt Riddle cuts a promo, and he's responding to Trashy Tim. We've already covered this.
Mm-hmm.
It brings us to Kushida versus Drake Maverick, which honestly I think should have been the main event here.
This was a terrific match.
This was a pretty damn good match. Jake Atlas comes out about halfway through, and he stands where the crowd normally would be, leaning up against the guardrail on the outside.
And starts singing show tunes. Or at least that's what we imagined.
Yeah, he looks...
very Tom Jones-ish.
Yeah, very Vegas main event singer. Anyway...
it's not unusual.
See, Kushida basically works over Drake Maverick's arm for the entire match. Left, right, he had no preference. He was just kicking arms, stomping arms. Dude, he did this sort of version of the Baszler stomp, but instead of lifting the leg up that's holding the elbow down, like what doesn't make sense about the Baszler stomp when the person can just like move their arm after you lift up. He jumps off of it and then lands on the mat and uses that as the stomp. Makes more sense. Doesn't look like it hurts as much, but still, I like it better. I'm warming up to Kushida, but only as much as I ever do to a Mick Carter.
Beth Phoenix actually made note that the elbow's not supposed to bend that way. It wasn't even on the elbow wasn't even bent.
Well, he locks on various versions of the Kimura lock throughout the match, and Drake Maverick just refuses to give up. His arm is to the point to where he can barely use it, and the ref's like, do you want to continue? And he's like, do not stop this match. This is all I've got. Mm-hmm. Do not stop the match.
That just made the match even crazier, or at least more watchable.
We end the match up on the top rope. Drake follows Kushida up there, and he's trying to execute a number of different moves, but he can't really get them on. Finally, he gets back up there and goes for that wheelbarrow bulldog off the top, seated off the top rope. But Kushida counters it. It looked like into a different move. It looked like he countered it and somebody almost landed a stunner, but then at the very end, Kushida pulls it into an armbar, a cross armbar, and then Drake Maverick just rolls over and rolls Kushida up right next to the ropes, and Kushida gets pinned with one shoulder partially up and close enough that he could have grabbed the ropes. But Drake Maverick gets the win. We now have a three-way tie. 2 wins, 1 loss for him, Kushida, and Jake Atlas. Yep. And since all of them have a win over another one of the 3...
we get a triple threat match.
Yes, that is announced.
Byron Saxton comes out and mentions it. So now we get to get back to Colin's question if we see Fanta winning this tournament. So, with me, I think Drake Maverick is going to lose to Jake Atlas in that triple threat match by some nefarious means and make Jake Atlas a pretty decent sized heel, and Drake Maverick will get kind of like shoved off to the side. I think he'll play a factor in the end of the Jake Atlas Phantasma match, but I'm not sure how it'll play out. But if that's true, and Phantasma is in charge of these Lucha Nappers at the same time, that could also come into play too.
Okay, so
lots of story.
In the finals match, ideally, to have the best crowd response, you want a heel versus a face. You want that emotion there.
We have no crowd.
Well, at home.
Yeah.
Problem is, right now, Phantasma looks like a face, and Drake Maverick is this underdog baby face. Jake Atlas looks like a face. He's encouraging Drake Maverick, who is one of his opponents, and for sure, Kushida's a face. So what do? Somebody needs to become a heel, and either, like you said, Jake Atlas somehow turns on or pins Drake Maverick and gains heel status because of it, moving on to face Phantasma, or Drake Maverick continues to move on. This is just another step in him fighting from getting that initial loss that looked like it was going to be the end of it all for him. And he moves on, and it starts out as a babyface versus babyface battle in the finals. But by the end of it, Phantasma's group comes out, helps him win, demolishes Drake Maverick's dream of saving his job, and meanwhile you form this super heel group. There you go, boom.
There you go. That works too. Or like have Drake actually pin Jake in this match as well, and he just doesn't respond to it well.
If anybody else has any ideas on where this is going, drop it in the chat room, will you?
Absolutely.
All right, so Group A is now in a three-way tie. So we'll find out next week how this goes down.
Triple threat match.
Triple threat.
And the cage match, all in one night.
Yeah, not to mention a few other matches, I think. Meanwhile, we get a video package for Rhea Ripley versus Io Sharai, because that is going to be our main event tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it wasn't Drake Maverick beating Kushida finally, but whatever. But before that, Damian Priest cuts a promo on the stage, which I think is pretty cool. They didn't make him come all the way out to the ring. It looked much cooler on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't, one of those typical backstage ones. So they got to use the Tron at the end of it and blah, blah, blah. So, cool. He is coming for Finn Balor at TakeOver. And he says, he is looking for championship gold, but Finn Balor coming back to NXT was too big of a target. Finn Balor made NXT, and he's going to make his name off of Finn Balor, whose name will fall to ashes at TakeOver. And Damian Priest's name will live forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he wants, to live forever. Word.
So we got that match now, too.
So we got that going for us.
That's awesome.
Meanwhile, that brings us to the main event. Oh, how unsatisfying was the ending to this. Oh, shit. What do you think about Io Shirai versus Rhea Ripley, Jerry?
I thought it was a pretty decent match. A lot of animosity between the two. And it was great to see Rhea wrestle anyway. But
oh, yeah.
Yeah, anytime we get to see Rhea Ripley wrestle is pretty great.
So she comes out and her entire top, I think, is consisting of a t-shirt, one of her shirts, that's made into, I guess, a top that ties up here and ties back here. I don't know what they're called, crop top, I don't know. Anyway, with ties, and I don't know if she's got anything under it, but man, on one of these live shows, dude, that just screams wardrobe malfunction.
It does, but like I saw many a jiggle in this thing.
Those shirts are notoriously, let's just say, not greatest crafted.
But then I kind of
fragile.
But then I think I killed his boner a little bit by mentioning the fact that she's wearing a ring.
Yeah, she's got a black wedding ring on her left ring finger. So there you go.
Somebody liked it and put a ring on it.
What can I do now? I just gotta wait for her to come off a rebound. What?
Colin actually said he could see Fanta being the leader of the Nappers.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Shizzle.
It's just, I mean, if you look at it in under a fine-tooth comb over the last few weeks, you could make that argument. But you could also make the argument that they're cowards. But I think it's more likely that they're just not putting a lot of effort because they're not going to punch their leader.
He's a businessman, and that's what's good for business.
I only have the end of this match because it was okay coming up to it, but I'm glad they didn't waste a super awesome match on this shitty ending. Mm-hmm. We did see a pretty awesome top rope superplex from Rhea Ripley. Both of them sold it very well.
Vicious.
And she almost came out of it. Never mind. The end saw Io Shirai hit 619, that Tiger fake kick. Top rope drop kick. Definitely missile drop kick. Booker T worthy. And a sweet tope suicida, dude. She flew out of those ropes. I think Rhea Ripley was damn near on the apron when she got hit. They both went down.
And then the omnipresent Charlotte Flair shows up. Not just Raw, not just SmackDown, but NXT as well, because that is where she's the champion at.
Io Shirai does a leg scissors takedown to Rhea Ripley and sends her into Charlotte Flair. So after they get back into the ring, and let's see, she hits one of those meteors, those running meteors, into Rhea, who's seated in the corner, gets a near fall, and then she hits a spike DDT where Rhea was trying to suplex her, and only gets a near fall. But as soon as she gets up, Charlotte Flair's in the ring, kicks her face off. Turns around, Rhea Ripley gets up, she kicks her face off. Then she stands in the ring with the title held. And I think this is setting up for a triple threat match. Mm-hmm. And I'm fine with that.
That's a way of Flair actually losing the belt without even getting pinned.
Or getting a little more use out of both of her former challengers for the title. allowing her to move on to somebody completely different.
Either way, lots of good stuff here.
Yeah, it was okay.
No, I mean it's good. Like the match wasn't great, but the aftermatch was good. That's what this whole show was. A whole bunch of aftermatch.
That's right. Yeah, this whole show was pretty much all story, and the matches didn't mean a whole lot in and of themselves.
Yeah, the matches only led into a story right afterwards.
The only satisfying ending to a match that I think I was really feeling was Roderick Strong, because that was a solid match.
And that was unexpected for him to win.
But then you had the aftermatch and
Velveteen Dream.
Like, you know, you had the addition that was just, and it's like, well, like everything was story driven here, and even the best match on the show, which was the Cruiserweight match between Maverick and
Kushida.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is weird because you could never say best match of the show and Kushida in the same sentence, but this was actually a very, very good match.
I think that tells you how I feel about the main event. Meanwhile, here on What's NXT, we like to rate that main event. We use the General's 5-star rating system.
Mm-hmm.
You get to go first, Jerry. Out of 5 stars, where do you rate this main event?
I'm gonna give it a 3, and that's just out of kindness. The fact that it's a Rhea Ripley match, so it automatically starts with a 3.
It starts good.
Yeah, and from there, like, there's really no. You get a little bit of aftermatch with it, yeah, but that's also going to incorporate with the rest of the show, which I'm going to give an extra quarter because so much story, so much build towards it in your house. It was a really solid show, I think. It actually kept me going. I was surprised when we got to the main event because I'm like, wow, it's already been 2 hours? Cool.
Solid, but not super entertaining, I feel. Like, you know, I love story, but, like, you got to have substance in all categories, and I feel like this show really lacked wrestling substance. But you're right, it was really solid. Story-wise, a lot of things moved forward. Mm-hmm. The main event itself, because it's Rhea, I will agree and start it. And any Rhea Ripley match is going to start good.
Mm-hmm.
I will give it an extra quarter because at the very least, if you weren't going to have a winner between Rhea and Io, you had Charlotte come out and take out both of them. Didn't really play favorites, except that she kicked Io first, who was the one that sent Rhea into her. And you set up for a possible triple threat match for the women's title later on. So I will give it an overall 3 1/4, but I'm going to save that extra quarter off the back of a great show. You know, I love the story,
yeah.
but
man,
well,
that's what I'm saying. It was an okay show, but at the same time, there was so much great story going into it.
The show was Talk City, man.
Yeah, but yeah, Colin also gives it a solid 3. So,
anybody else want to chime in?
If anybody else wants to chime in, we'll go ahead and do our plugs real quick.
Yeah, we're going to do our plugs before we do the one chip challenge. So, there's going to be a few minutes here. If you have any friends that you know that would love to see us choke on a hot ass fucking chip, then and cry probably, and chug milk and sour cream, link them to the video.
We persuaded Colin into a 3.25.
Cool. All right. So speaking of Colin,
he sipped the Kool-Aid.
He's one of the members of the NXT team, and if you'd like to join the NXT team, come help us review a show. We do reviews for NXT UK. We will start doing that when they have shows again. Meanwhile, we're thinking about doing some reviews of some independent talent. We'll see, or we might just do a general Q&A or general
question answer. Yeah,
general wrestling discussion is what we call it. And you can be on that too.
That turned out really good last
Talk about the week's news.
Mm-hmm.
But it all starts with finding us on social media or leaving an information down there. An email address, something where we can get a hold of you, get on Skype, and review some shows or something. If you'd like to join the NXT, find me on Twitter. Go to nodq.com/Stefan. That's STEFAN. Or if you just want to look me up, it's at Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted. You can also find the gentleman on Twitter, but not with a no DQ URL. What's up, Aaron?
But at no DQ general, I was about to say at General J_JSJ. My Facebook group Armbar, all capital ARMBAR ! I've got my shirt made now, Teespring, under the Great Cherry brand. So go ahead and go buy that if you want. That'd be really nice. Also, we have the Aftermatch Wrestling group on Facebook that I run. And we have Aftermatch_Wrestling on Instagram, ran by Colin Cleaver Andrew, and Aftermatch Rest on Twitter, where we take the ling out of wrestling.
Whatever the fuck that means. You can find me on Instagram at osborne.stefan, and you can find the channel at nodq.com/NXT. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, seriously. I'm also on Instagram as well, the_gentleman_slaughter. And I also did a video with Cindy G from No DQ the other morning. So
really good. Check that out.
When they found Shad's body, she asked me if I wanted to be on the show with her.
So find all of that. We're on Patreon if you'd like to help the channel at Stefan R. Osborne. But if you just have a few seconds, the best help you can give, if you like the video, do us a favor, click this like button over here. Yeah. It helps. Somewhere. If you like all of our videos, do yourself a favor, click the subscribe button over there. That's going to help you find all of our videos. And if you want to catch us live, you want to get in the chat room, maybe rate some main events, click that bell icon. That bell icon will tell your phone to tell you when we're on live, and you come and join us. We really appreciate it. All 5 of you. Thank you guys. Thank everybody that watches this show, whether it's live or on demand. We love our audience. That's why we keep doing this.
No need to be bashful. Get in the chat room.
Shout out to Israel Diaz, our super fan. Love that guy.
Yep.
He's there for them all.
And Nate Spain.
New super fan, Nate Spain. Yeah, we love you, Nate.
Sorry we switched up the hours on you boys, but, you know.
And Davi, Jerry's biggest fan.
Oh,
and Jerry's left butt cheek's biggest fan, and Jerry's right butt cheek's biggest fan.
Seriously.
Someday he hopes to see Jerry twerk, and honestly, I want to see Jerry twerk too. Meanwhile, I think that brings us to the end of the plugs, which brings us to the one chip challenge. Okay. So here we go.
Are you going to go get milk first? Or sour cream or something?
Yes, I have got milk especially for this. And sour cream. I'm going to grab all of them. Personally speaking, I like skim milk. I think Jerry prefers 2%, but I got us 2 bottles of vitamin D just in case, because I feel like that's going to be the best help. Shy of squirting fresh sour cream down our gullets. So, I guess we're going to prepare for this, huh?
Yeah.
Wish us luck, folks. Let me get rid of that. Yeah, might as well have it good. Oh, you're going to go straight. Yeah, I think we should go straight for the vitamin D.
Yeah, so straight for the whole milk. Straight for the whole.
No, I don't have any nails. Help me out, Jerry. You twist it off. Yeah, it'll twist right off.
Yep.
Oh, forgot to shake it up. That's vitamin D milk. All right, let's open these bad boys up. Peer pressure, Jerry. I can't believe I got this motherfucker.
Oh my god.
I told him no chickening out. Oh, mine's cracked. I guess it's good broken in half. It means I can do it all in one bite and get it over with. They're black, ladies and gentlemen. Look at these. I'm sorry the camera's not positioned right for this shit. Look at this. Oh, man. We're looking over ourselves. Your guy last week, you know what's up. Cover the mouth.
Yeah.
My fingers are starting to tingle.
Yeah.
Can you believe this?
That's not a good sign.
Okay. We got to go at the same time.
Are we
Remember,
are we eat the whole chip or just take a bite? Just
whole chip.
I don't even think I can do the whole chip.
Well, you got to break it in half. Whole chip. First person to cave and drink their milk loses. Loser takes 3 chops.
Okay.
Here we go, folks. I really hate myself for this. And, God, I'm so terrified. Right. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3. swallowing, that's where it hurts. As soon as I opened my mouth, I knew it was coming. I knew as long as I kept my mouth shut, it wouldn't be so bad. But that swallow, man. I'm gonna get a garbage can or a garbage bag. I think I poisoned Jerry. I think I won, so I can drink the milk. Yeah, the hiccups. This already hurts really bad in my throat, and I know it's going to get worse. You gonna live? No. Oh, it's so rough on the back sides of the tongue. That's where I do all my chewing. Oh, there in the mullet. I'm crying. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with the dust on my fingers. I'm not gonna lick it off. Oh, tears down both eyes so far. Did call the napkins. I thought you were gonna make a break for the bathroom. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. I'm so sorry, Jerry. I think this is rough enough. I don't think we're gonna honor the 3-chop challenge. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is my fault.
Soda.
Soda?
Soda.
Coke? Pepsi?
Soda, Coke.
Make it worse. I feel like mine's already starting to get a little better in the mouth. As long as I quit breathing air in. Breathe through the nose. Well, folks, thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that. I have no regrets. I think he does. So, it's enough embarrassment. For the General Jerry Slaughter, I am the Wizard Stefan Osborne. Thank you for joining us. All you crazy stray cats and kittens out there. We will see you in